If you feel overwhelmed at the end of the year, especially with fat loss, and you want to start 2026 calm, grounded, and not like you have to change your entire life on January 1st, then this video is for you. After losing 13 kilos this year, I realized something that I wish I'd known sooner. The way you end the year matters just as much as how you start it. So today, I'll walk you through a realistic reset that you can do right now, 2 weeks before the new year, which is not a makeover or a detox or putting unnecessary amount of pressure on yourself, but it's just simple things that help you feel ready for the new year without feeling lost. This is exactly what I wish I would have done last year instead of overhauling my entire life the 1st of January. The first section we will reset is your mind. You do not need a new version of yourself. You just need a clear mind to start the new year off in a way that feels aligned with where you want to go. So I think what will help here is to ask yourself a few questions, kind of reflect on the year that has passed and think about what routines have helped you, which ones made you feel stable or made fat loss feel sustainable? What made fat loss easier? What kind of habits did you implement that helped you when you were losing fat and you will still want to take with you for 2026? And what kind of things drained me or caused me to spiral? What happened that did not align with where I want to go? Ending the year like this, reflecting and thinking about what went well and what didn't, just kind of gives you a bit more clarity with where you want to go in 2026, with what you want to do and what you want to prioritize, because ultimately a fat loss journey, or in general just trying to set new goals for the year, it's very personal. You need to figure out what worked for you, because I can tell you so many things that worked for me which might not work for you, but if you are able to get this skill of figuring out what's working, what's not working for you, that is going to get you so far in life. So basically, you do not need more pressure. You just need clarity for this step. Now let's figure out and reset our space. A calmer environment makes consistency 10 times easier, especially with food. So think about the areas of your life, of your home, that feel cluttered, that every time that you pass or have to get something from a drawer, you're just like, oh my gosh, I do not want to deal with that, and actually deal with it right now. Because even if it's just one thing that you do, it's one less thing that is on your mind. And even if you think that has nothing to do with fat loss, everything that goes on in your head has to do with fat loss, because the more you're overwhelmed in the other areas of your life, the less you're going to be able to focus on your fat loss, on your weight loss, or anything like that. If you even take just one thing off your plate for the new year, that is going to help you so much with staying consistent and not feeling like you're overwhelmed because you have a million other things that you have to think about. And even though you think, well, I'm not going to lose weight if I clean out my drawer, like I said, it's going to help you because you're not constantly thinking about that drawer when you're going there. For example, in the kitchen, you have the pantry that is a complete mess. You cannot see anything. Clean it out, figure out what you're going to do, and figure out what you want to keep, what you don't want to keep, what's expired. So maybe also set yourself up for success for the new year. Get some new snacks that are not going to expire for the next month, that support your journey, but still are snacks that you love, that you know you're going to want to have for the new year, and just kind of restock your staples slowly, because of course there's still 2 weeks with Christmas and everything in between. But kind of start thinking about maybe even making a list of what you want to get. What are the staples that you want to have for when the new year starts and when you actually want to start with your fat loss, if that's a goal of yours. And it really does not have to be perfect. It just needs to give you a little bit of room to breathe. Now, my next point is about routines. We need to kind of reset those and figure out which ones are you still doing and are working well, which ones you're doing and they're not working well. And sometimes you don't even know something is a routine until you start looking at it a bit better. Like maybe you got into the habit or into the routine of picking up your phone as soon as you get into bed at night. And you don't want to continue doing that. So kind of figure out what you can replace it with. Why you're going onto the phone, or why you grabbing maybe a snack as soon as you go into the kitchen. What do you get from actually doing that if you want to stop doing it? So for these last 2 weeks, I would suggest that you choose maybe 1 or 2 routines that you've been doing that you want to stop doing, and try to figure out what you can replace it with. And maybe connect it with 1 or 2 routines that you've maybe started doing this year or you've done previously, and you know that they really worked well for you. And you don't start anything new that you have not ever tried before, because that's just going to be overwhelming. But if you know something that you've done before, you're not doing it right now, but you know it helps you, reintegrate that into your life slowly right now. For me, for example, I did a lot of meditating in the past, in the morning and at night, even just 5 minutes, but I've kind of stopped doing it. And I think the routine that I'm going to implement for these last few weeks of 2025 is exactly that, meditating for 5 minutes a day. So it really does not have to be anything big, because we do not want to overwhelm ourselves before the year even starts, but just have some supportive habits and routines that help you go into the new year. I'm just going to give you a few examples of what you could choose as your habits that you can implement before starting the new year if you don't have any ideas. So maybe what you can start doing is try to focus on protein. Have it as a routine or as a habit that in every meal you think about protein. What's the protein for this meal? Especially for breakfast, I would focus on that, because it really regulates your hunger and you're gonna feel much more satiated throughout the day. Then maybe you want to implement a 10-minute tidy every single day, so that your space feels clean and feels reset every day, and you don't even get to the point where you feel overwhelmed by things that you have to do in your home. Maybe you can even reset your gym schedule and sit down and figure out what days would work best for you to go to the gym. You don't actually have to do it yet if you know that you will not have time for that during the holidays, but just kind of start planning. If you know your routine in the new year, just kind of start figuring out what would work best for you in terms of days, in terms of what workouts to do, and try to write it down. But basically here you're not resetting your whole entire life, you're just trying to get back to what actually works for you. Now here I also want to add a quick nutrition reset as well, because I feel like if you have time to do it, it's gonna set you up for a lot of success in 2026. What I would do, and what I'm definitely planning on doing, is meal prepping some freezer meals for the New Year's that are healthy, that I love, that I know I'm gonna wanna eat. Something that I've been doing for a while already are my freezer burritos. I can also put the recipe in the description if you want to make them as well. But basically, I make a batch of 10 burritos in maybe an hour, 1.5 hours. And when I want them, I can just get one, microwave it. It's ready in 5 minutes. And they hold for such a long time in the freezer, opposed to just meal prepping and having to eat it in a week. So that is really gonna set you up for success in 2026. And you can already start doing it now. If you have more time right now, or even during the holidays, you might find an hour or 2 to meal prep something for yourself and just have some staples that actually are gonna help you and support you on days that you don't feel like it. But basically, I just hope that this reset is gonna help you start January calm and feeling ready for the new year, instead of just kind of scrambling and figuring out what you want to do. And you do not have to overhaul your entire life on January 1st to actually see progress. It's just small little things that you can prepare right now and then go into the new year feeling fresh. But next week's video is basically part 2 of this. How to start your 2026 fat loss journey without overhauling your entire life. So if you're interested, consider subscribing, and in the meantime, you can watch the video that's going to pop up on the screen right now. There I talk about 11 habits that made fat loss feel easy. I hope this helped, and I hope that I see you in my next video. Bye!